I love humans. All the same patterns and things that aren't there.
Hey everybody, this is episode 6 of Casually Obsessed, and right now, we're going to be talking about an episode that really only appears once in a blue moon, and a rarity in the Stephen Moffat era. What the fuck am I talking about? Well, what I'm saying is, Thin Ice, episode 3 of series 10, is through and through a perfect episode. Before I write a review on an episode, I watch it a few times to absorb as much as I can about the episode. Every time I watch it, I could find no faults whatsoever in the episode. It's perfect. Not in the mind-blowing way Heaven Sent was, but in a feel-good, fun adventure kind of way with dark and mysterious overtones. But I was a bit worried going in. Sometimes whenever I know we're going to be going into England's past, there's always a part of me that fears that the episode is going to be boring. Not to say that they all are, but let's just say episodes like The Unquiet Dead or The Shakespeare Code aren't exactly first choices for casual viewing. But it was the same here as it was with Smile. I went in not exactly expecting much, and then I was blown away by the end of it. I was saying to a friend from work after the episode aired, I'm 3 episodes in and it makes you wonder, what the hell happened in Series 9? Alrighty, so, Elephant on the Ice. Let's face it, I don't care who you are, that could grab anyone's attention. And early on, Bill makes a good point about racism in the 1800s, and I'm a little hazy on Series 3, but I can't actually remember if the topic of racism was brought up during Martha Jones's run. But again, the Shakespeare Code isn't exactly one of my go-to episodes. But the great thing about traveling with the Doctor is that the possibility of danger isn't something the Doctor is too concerned with. It's like, yeah, it's going to be dangerous, and there will probably be the odd bad egg who will make your day a little less enjoyable, but fuck it. Let's just dive into it, juggle some monkeys, throw them up in the air, and see what happens. Even in the first few minutes, we're given a load of really great moments. From the Doctor and Bill both expressing their fondness of the TARDIS, we get to see them in some pretty fancy dress, and a really funny long joke about a hypothetical entity called Pete. A long joke is one of my favorite kind of jokes. The best ones are done in stand-up comedy when something funny 10 minutes ago can somehow be funny 10 minutes later, like in this sequence. Or like in Team America World Police, where we have a puppet puking his guts out for a full minute, where the bell curve of the joke gets less funny after 35 seconds, and then funny again after 45 seconds. But I digress. The Fluttershy, the butterfly effect, is an off and on topic for new companions even going back to the classic series, but this is probably the funniest the show has ever done with it. The whole Frost Fair is a pretty whimsical setting, something you'd be more likely to see in a high fantasy sword and sorcery graphic novel rather than in a historic episode in a sci-fi adventure series. It's pretty refreshing. Everything from the sword swallowers to the wrestlers and the exotic food just adds to the atmosphere and the believability of the episode. By now, you should know that I love dark storylines, and what better way to show Bill some actual danger than to witness the death of some literal poor fuck to be digested by a beast. Ha! Bet he wasn't expecting that when he woke up this morning.
And it appears time just finally ran out for the old cocksucker.
Killing off adults in Doctor Who is all fine and dandy, but it takes a lot of balls to kill off a child. It's this level of dark that always makes me want to continue watching Doctor Who. Why should the children be exempt from all the dangers of the universe? Won't somebody please think of the children? Following this, there's a really great sequence of Bill finding out more about who the Doctor is as a person. And like her enthusiastic reactions to all the whimsy of the Frost Fair, her reactions to the Doctor's answers make this sequence particularly moving. And you can see the tension just start to thicken as she prods the Doctor with heavier and heavier questions, like how many people he's seen die, and how many people he's killed, which is literally off the charts as we see in Extremis. And then the Doctor does what he does best. He snaps Bill out of her emotional episode with some cold hard logic and reason. There is something under the ice killing people, and you can either cry about it, or you can buck up and actually get shit done and find a way to stop it before it kills more people. That brings us to the cast of child actors that dominate the main cast. And normally, I hate child actors, but I'll always U-turn when presented with a good performance. And for once, I'm not at all annoyed by them. In fact, they were almost endearing in this episode. Just as long as one dies and is processed into fuel, we're all good. And I can't be the only one who thinks it's funny that the only way to get the doctor's attention is to chuck a fucking lantern at his head. But to be fair, you probably couldn't hear much of anything with that big bulky scuba gear. Whenever I anticipate a new series for Doctor Who, I always go on sites like Cultbox, Radio Times, or Blogger Who, etc., to get as much info as I can before going into a series. And I remember reading how Sarah Dollard said that the design team were building something big for her episode, to her disbelief. And going into the episode the first time, I couldn't tell if she meant the size of the set and the overall frost fair, or the really big fish at the bottom of the river. And on the first viewing, I was hoping that said fish had to do more in this episode, but after multiple viewings, I got that it was supposed to stay down there. There's a bit of a Beast Below vibe to this creature, and while I love the morbidness of the beast's gullet with all the bloody body chunks and digestive juices, I can take a certain amount of morbid joy out of the fact that the fuel Lord Sutcliffe is creating is made out of a bunch of digested humans. And I want to try to make a joke about this creature shitting bricks, and I just did. Ha ha ha! I'm the funniest guy on the internet. And I guess I'm in the camp of people who find censored jokes funnier than uncensored ones. I love this implication.
No
Another funny implication in the episode was that there were people in the pie, and I had to skip back to make sure Bill wasn't actually cannibalizing some poor fuck who was eaten by the fish. But thankfully it was revealed that the fish in question were herbivores. But regardless of who ate what, I'm now going to waste a minute and 5 seconds of your life to watch this clip from Strange Wilderness.
Oh my God. Oh God! Don't come in here! No!
Here's another one of those piranha bastards. Fucking eat all these fucking stupid fish.
We were gonna make it. And then these bastards ate Dick.
How's it feel to get eaten, fish fuckers?
Yeah!
How's it feel to get eaten?
Stupid fish.
You think we'd just let you get away with eating Dick, you sons of bitches, pieces of river trash? Fuck you! Fuck you!
Hey, wait a minute. These are the fish that ate Dick, right?
Yeah!
All right, just go with me here. If Dick is in the fishes and we're eating the fishes, doesn't that mean we're eating Dick?
What the
So that brings us to the big bad villain of the episode. And as villains like Lord Sutcliffe go, he fits into the kind of category of boring one-dimensional characters that have as much personality as your average character in an Ayn Rand novel. He is scum through and through, and the actor who played Sutcliffe did a really good job portraying a character who was steeped in racism since he slid out of his mother's uterus. And it's mildly amusing to me that this episode was filmed months before it became fashionable to punch racists. But even one-dimensional villains can still be great as long as there's a side of them that make them a heartless bastard. Case in point, anyone who isn't moved by the Doctor's eloquent speech is exactly that. And Lord Sutcliffe is exactly that. He's a character that you love to hate, which made his demise all the more welcome despite how lame it was. I mean, he literally jumps down onto the ice to his own death. You would think that he'd maybe shuffle 3 feet to the left before he falls through the ice, but no, he didn't. There are some great moments leading up to the climax. As if I wasn't having enough good laughs over the Pete entity and the bricks of shit, the funniest scene in the episode was when Bill's magnificent scream was drowned out from all the festivities in the fair. So now, it's official. that Bill is definitely a splice between Mel and Ace. And for your listening displeasure, let us compare the screaming.
No, please.
6 to the waterman.
Now I'll go first. We don't want you breaking your neck. At least not until...
Like the kid earlier in the episode, and like Ross in Into the Dalek, and O'Donnell in Before the Flood, there's something satisfying about the 12th Doctor allowing people to get killed in order to further the plan when the man with the ship tattoo gets sucked into the ice. Afterwards, we're treated to a nice moment where we really see the character development of the 12th Doctor since he first appeared in Series 8. In Series 8, he makes it very clear to Clara and the others that he doesn't take orders from anybody. But ever since Kill the Moon, and In the Forest of the Night, he's really lightened up. Here he is telling Bill that the fate of the humans is not up to the Doctor, like in Kill the Moon. But the difference now is he's ready and willing to serve the human race in times of crisis, but only on their, or in this case, Bill's, orders. Now that is character development. So the episode ends with the warm fuzzies with the really big fish swimming away to freedom, and the orphans getting a comfortable future in the lap of luxury. That being said, I don't really know how to feel about mixing coffee with tea, but hey, there's a first for everything. And it's around here, I think, is where I start to like Nardole. At first, I, like most people, weren't thrilled that he was staying for a full season, but it scenes like this where he shows his sterner side that make me glad that he is not always some bumbling buffoon who's just there for comic relief. And whatever progresses a story arc, no matter how big or small, is always a good thing to me. Alrighty, so, score time. For 1 being low and 10 being high, I give Thin Ice a perfect 10 out of 10. Overall, this episode balances a feel-good adventure with a darker and mysterious side. Peter Capaldi and Pearl Mackey's performances were amazing as always. It was great for Bill to see that not every adventure with the Doctor is all sunshine and daisies. The child actors weren't as annoying as I feared, and it just feels good to see this many high-quality stories rolling out of the first 3 episodes of the season. That being said, the next episode I'll be reviewing, Knock Knock, was an episode that I had the same amount of high hopes for leading up to the episode, but now it's still one I'm still on the fence about even after several rewatches. But I'll get to that in the actual episode. This has been episode 6 of Casually Obsessed, and I hope you have a good day.